I'd like to welcome everybody to Monday Night Live at Man Peppers, featuring the Madison County Mountaineer Football Coaches Show with Coach Larry Helmick. We'd like to thank Man Peppers and James Atkins for all their generosity in hosting the show. And Larry, big game Friday night.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
Last Friday or this Friday?
Well, last Friday.
Last Friday, we played Luray, and we knew going into the bull run that we were getting into more physical teams, and it's just once you get in the bull run district, it's you got to be tough, you got to be physical, and I thought we played really well, especially offensively and defensively. Defense is on the field a lot, but we came up with some stops when we needed them, and offense got points almost every time they touched the field. So.
Yeah. It seems like Luray has historically always been a big rival of Madison's for years, since the 70s. And they've always been physical. And no matter what their record is, they always play Madison tough.
Yeah, I mean, they have a really good line, and they have a really good backs. So they run hard, they block well. So, I mean, anytime you can do that, it's going to be a tough night. So.
Right. So let's talk about some of the standouts from this past week.
Aaron Fincham was 9 for 12 for 215 and 3 TDs. William Dickey had 7 catches for 175 yards and 2 TDs. Stephon Turner had a touchdown. And then Jeremiah Brown kept doing what Jeremiah Brown does. He had 15 carries for 256 and 4 touchdowns. He had 2 other touchdowns called back that were 50 or 60 yards. So
he could easily have 300 yards. Right?
Yeah, he's having a great year. He had a great offseason. All of them had a great offseason. But we're blocking really well up front right now, and when Jeremiah has space and he sees a crease, he's going to hit it at 100 miles an hour, and he's going to run tough, and he's going to make good things happen. So
how about on defense?
Defensively, Wyatt Tompkins still leading the way. He had 24 tackles. He's all over the place. We got a big game from Adam Johnson. He's one of our corners. He had 10 tackles and a blocked extra point. So that was huge. Avery Settle played on the D line. He played really well. He's a big body there. He had 5 tackles. So I thought overall we played really well.
Yeah, special teams. Tyler Coates came through again this week too.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's 9 for 11 on the season or something for PATs. And I mean, she puts it wherever you want it. So
and she did a really good job on kickoffs too.
Yes. She's been tremendous for us. She's a special weapon to have, and we're very thankful to have her.
So your season up to date. What do you think what can Madison do to improve on?
We got to continue to be physical and tough. We got to have good days of practice. We have to be locked in. It's still half the season left, a little under half the season. So, it's getting into the end of the regular season, and we got to do what we have to do to continue to play physical football and be ready for every week in the bull run. It doesn't matter who you're going to play. You're gonna get a physical game, and you have to be ready for that. So
the bull run is definitely a physical
district.
I mean, my gosh, it reminds me back in the old days when it was so physical.
It's important for us to stay healthy too. Take care of your bodies, because every week's a physical grind. So
Okay. So I'd like to bring in some of the players right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll bring in some coaches here after that.
Sounds
and
great.
Then we'll finish up with you.
Sounds great.
Okay. All right. So Aaron Fincham.
Yes, sir.
Come on in, sir. Now I know you were worried about what I was going to ask you. It's all good. So let's talk about your season today. On a personal level, what do you think it's going for you?
I think it's going pretty good, but nothing's going to happen without everybody else in the class.
It's true. And what are you looking for going ahead? As we have how many more games do you have left? 4 more games?
4 more.
Yeah, 4 more to the playoffs. So what are you looking to do, try to do the rest of the season?
I'm looking to win the district, so everybody's got to do their job. Everybody's got to put in the work.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
Yeah. So let's have some. What's some of your favorite memories as playing for the Mountaineers? You've been on the varsity now for your second year?
Yeah.
So second year? Third year.
Yeah.
As a quarterback. Your freshman year.
Freshman year, I came up and played running back a little bit.
Yeah.
Defense man.
The defensive end, yeah. So what are some of your favorite memories from playing for Madison?
My favorite memories have always been playing against Green Giant because we go in ready to play, and everybody just puts in the work.
It's funny. Everybody says the same thing.
Oh, it's always fun.
And that's been going on for years, I can tell you that. So, who has been some of your influences on your career?
My influencers?
For you.
Coach Helmick and Utz.
Coach
They've
Utz.
always been on my back, and I know it's not just because I'm doing bad, it's because they're lifting me up every time.
Trying to make you a better player. So how about some of your role models? Anybody you pattern your game after?
I look up to a lot of people. I look up to NFL players, and I also look up to my dad, who teaches me a lot in my field.
That's a good answer. So who has helped you to get where you are athletically and academically?
The
Your
coaches,
teachers, the coaches,
and the teachers.
teachers.
In the classroom before on the field.
Yeah. All right, and this is a curveball question I have asked every time. So last week it was favorite superhero. I know you watch wrestling. What's your favorite pro wrestler?
I don't know. I used to like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
That's a great answer.
Yes, sir.
That's a great answer. All right, well, thank you, Aaron, for coming out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next up, the one and only JV Grant. I told JV this week we scored a touchdown. I asked him what he wanted his touchdown call to be. And what'd you tell me?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then the first touchdown he ran had a penalty, and nobody knew it was a touchdown, so I couldn't say anything. Second touchdown, I got you.
Yeah.
So for you, how do you feel like on a personal level? How you been going your season been going so far?
You know, I just took the last season I had with the season injury, and I just came back after that. Been grinding all season with my teammates, putting under this work, and just going for that district title.
Yeah, so let's talk about your offensive line some. They're big and open holes. And those guys have really done a great job this year. You want to talk about them?
Yeah, this is probably one of the best offensive line I didn't have since my year playing. You know, they get the job done on and off the field. So I just give them the praise for it.
And your quarterback's pretty good too, right?
Yes.
You can make sure he's sitting right here. So, what are some of your favorite memories as playing for Madison?
I couldn't think of one favorite memory. I probably got too many. I couldn't even think of one.
Well,
Breaking the rushing record's
I
not
was going to say the rushing record last year against Westmoreland. How many yards do you have, Larry?
4 to 16.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And I looked it up. I believe it was like top 10 statewide all time. So next time somebody asks you tell them this. So, who has been a big influence on your career so far?
I'll probably say a lot of NFL players, a lot of NFL running backs that's doing it in the league.
Do you pattern yourself after any NFL player?
I'll probably say Barry Sanders, even though he's retired now.
That's a great answer. He probably retired before you were born. That's all good. So, who has also helped you to where you are athletically and academically? Any favorite teachers or coaches?
I'll probably say my coaches and some of my teachers.
Some of your teachers? I was supposed to say all your teachers. Okay, curveball question. If you had a superpower, what would be your favorite superpower? What would you have?
Be the strongest man in the world.
Thank you, JB. Stone Cold
You
Brown.
want to be fast? You want to be fast? You already is fast.
So next up, I would like to have the offensive coordinator, Mr. Brendan Utz. Woo! Hey, man. So everybody here knows you. Can tell everybody out there a little bit about yourself.
I'm Brandon Utz. I played football in Madison from 2005 to 09. After I got a chance to come back with Stuart Dean, and then in 2013, 2014, and then I went to Culpeper in 2015, and then Coach Helmick got the job, me and Helmick have always been really good friends, closer to brothers. At that point, I'd do anything for him, and he let me know he got the job, and ended up working it out, and I came back home, and very grateful to be here.
Also, the son of the legendary Ronnie
Ronnie
Utz and Fanny Utz.
Yeah, Ronnie Utz is my dad, Fanny Utz is my mom.
Yeah, don't get no better than them. You're
Yeah,
great
sir.
parents.
Yes, sir.
So, what are some of your favorite memories as playing for Madison, coaching for Madison?
I think one of my coolest memories I had as a player, and it was nothing with on the field. We were good. I mean, we were 8-2 my senior year, 7-3. Junior year, we always had a winning record. We always were in competition for the district. But I'd say probably the coolest part was we would finish a practice on a Thursday walkthrough or a Saturday morning, and there'd be 3 or 4, 5 or 6 cars full of us that we always did stuff together.
Right.
That whole group I was with, we would go to the movies, 15 or 16 kids deep. It was just that was a cool memory. Looking back at my playing time, and just how tight-knit we were.
Yeah, I think it's something that gets lost in high school sports. And personally myself, that everybody keeps talking about these college scholarships. That stuff will come, but the memories you have as a player and a kid in school, that stuff lasts. And the friendships you have.
As a team and on the school, I really feel like we were lucky to say we really truly enjoyed playing the game. We loved football, and we really enjoyed each other. So I don't know if a lot of people would say that.
Yeah.
But that was something I always look back and want to be thankful for with.
Yeah. So also you coach wrestling. How did that come about?
Well, it wasn't really in the cards from the beginning, but I was a football coach and I wrestled in high school. I was pretty good. I'd always been around the sport. When I came back in 2013 to help with Madison football, I started helping Mike Saker as his assistant. And then I went to Culpeper, and I had no intention of coming back here and being the wrestling coach. And then Coach Akron let me know he was going to put it down, and he'd like me to interview for it. Everything worked out, and then with Coach Akron passing, I think you land right where you're supposed to be. So it means a little more to me these days.
Yeah, it does. I think something that I hope it doesn't ever go unforgotten. But Mike Saker did a lot for the school.
Yes, sir.
And for this community.
Yes, sir.
He really was. He was a character. We all miss Mike. Who is some of your influence on your coaching and playing career?
I've been really lucky to be with a lot of good coaches. Stuart Dean, Eddie Dean. Our offenses, even though it looks a little different at times, their pro-style offense and the way they used to utilize weapons that our other district teams don't always do. They're systematic. I always thought they had a really cool offense where you could get some wide outs to the ball. You weren't ever one-dimensional.
Right.
So I would say they've been impactful when we get to work with them. Ken Wakefield at Culpeper was super impactful too. He taught me how to watch film and break down. He was my first true this is how you do it kind of guy. But then even getting back here with Coach Helmick and just learning how to simplify the game. Yeah. Get what you need to get and truly put a good product on the field every Friday. I'm really thankful for all the coaches I've had in the past and this staff that's around us now. They're all Madison guys, but that's not the credential. They all know football, and I feel like I pick something up every day when I'm with them. You get a lot of different points of view.
I believe your staff is probably 90% of all former Madison players.
Yeah, 95. Well, there's only one that ain't.
More than one. So, that's something you talk about offense. I know you're an offensive guy. When Coach Dean was here back in the 70s, I can remember when everybody else was running the Wishbone and Vera offense, he was the first one to bring the passing offense to this area. And it's kind of nice to see it on through the generations that you've continued that tradition in Madison County.
Yeah,
being a multi-dimensional offense.
We got a little different look to it than it always has. We're still a pro-style team, and we're still we're still run first. So we would always reach out to run the ball each week, and then we're nice to where we could do some different things.
Yeah, so it's been, how many years you been offensive coordinator then?
So the first year we got here, I was actually on the defensive side of the ball, and I was a little out of my comfort zone, I'm not going to lie. I'm used to seeing spread football And we were talking coverage, and we were talking this, and I got it ran down my throat that first year we were here.
Yeah.
And Coach Helmick and me sat down, and we made some adjustments, and so after that first year we were here, which was I think was 2020, the first year we were here, so 2021 till now, I've been the offensive guy.
Well, I'll tell you, you guys did a really great job. The team in general, but offensively, I mean, what's your average in points wise?
I couldn't tell you.
I know we don't punt very much.
We're looking more at we got a goal as a team, and I thought those guys said it well. We're not looking at individual and one side of the ball averages and this and that. We're trying to put a complete game out there and win a district title. That's been the mission.
So let's talk about the season so far with the offense. I mean, you guys are lighting it up. I mean,
we're blessed. I mean, you got a lot of weapons. Yeah, Aaron's a great quarterback. We always start there with the quarterback. He's really grown in the system. He's got a powerful arm. I mean, and he can run it. We really like, making the teams have to honor him running the ball or throwing it.
He's a very physical guy. He's not just back there tippy-toeing around. He runs on top.
No, you got your hands full when he's getting downhill.
Yeah.
And then we're blessed with JB in the backfield. Now he's our staple back. He's the one that everybody knows, and he's racking the yardage up. But then you look at Wyatt Tompkins, Eli Myers. They're doing the dirty work at times at our Y or H position, which is our tight end and fullback. And they're both very special kids in their own right. I mean, they're a great set of hands on them, can do the work when you handle the ball, and always bring that physicality and toughness that we really like to be known for. Yeah. You got Larry Carpenter at tight end, very talented kid, special kid, hard worker, soft hands, great blocker. Like he's what you look for in a tight end. We got Will Dickey out wide. He's definitely a blessing to have. It's last year he had his year cut short with us. I think he had it was 3 touchdowns in 2 games that he had. He was up over 160 yards, and now that we have him for a full season, it's just he's nice having out there. It's I call him our safety blanket for the offense. If stuff gets a little tough. Right. We can take a peek at what you're giving him and try to take something from you. And then Stephon Turner has really stepped up as a junior in this program. And because our Z position used to be Billy Acton, and Billy was going to be a really hard act to follow. He did a lot of good stuff for us. And then Billy graduated last year. Stephon stepped into that role, and I thought he's on the backside of our offense and those formations. I thought he's done a phenomenal job making teams pay when we get him the ball. So we're blessed. We're blessed. We have a lot of weapons. Our own offensive line is better than they've ever been since we've been here. And that's not just saying that we've been bad up front, because I don't believe that at all. I think they're truly a special group. They're gritty. They get after it. They're smart. I remember one practice this year. We were sitting there and I was calling we got to give all our calls out there, but we have a couple different line calls going on, and I've named them something different, and then all of a sudden I hear all these different little code names being yelled. And I'm like, who in the heck taught these kids that? And they're like, oh, they picked it up, and this is how they want to call it. And I'm sitting there like, well, they better, as long as it's the right thing, we'll go with it. But they really took ownership of that offensive line. We can do a lot more now. In the run game scheme and pass protection wise than we've ever done, just because they're smart up front and they're tough.
So this past week you moved up to the top of the booth? Yeah. Is that a different perspective of the game?
Yeah, there's a lot less room to walk. I like walking up and down that sideline. I get antsy, so they definitely put me in a box, and I had to get used to that. But no, it's always nice to see it from up top. It's nice to be in a role where somebody trusts you to coach the offense and call the offense, and have a staff around you that you trust enough that you can go up top and call it down. So I had no worries about that going up top. We didn't lose anything in translation. It wasn't just me going up top. It was Coach Helmick relaying the plays in and talking to the quarterback, and it was Chase Berry helping us with the formations and personnel, and then the other coaches getting on the headset and just knowing what we do, and that even though I wasn't on the field, they knew how to run it. It actually made my job easier, made all theirs tougher. So I think the guys on the field really stepped up and did a nice job.
It seems like the players are a close-knit group, but also seems like the coaches are too.
Yeah, we have a good time. We enjoy what we do.
So we're looking forward to the rest of the year.
Yes, sir, me too. too.
What do you think? What are some of your thoughts on the next couple of coming games?
We're in Bull Run District now, so it's playoff football once you hit district play.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably a little biased, but I think Bull Run District is as good as football comes from the top to the bottom. You know what you're going to get, and you got to make sure you put the work in and go and be ready for it.
I can tell you what, I think the Bull Run District has improved dramatically in the last 10 years. It's become a really physical district.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
There's never a week off, that's for sure.
Well, thank you, Brandon.
Yes,
appreciate you coming out tonight, and get you come back and have wrestling stories.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Madison County legend, Mr. Paul Moore. How you doing, Paul? Those of you who don't know this, Paul, Tony Arrington, and Kevin Arrington, all running back receivers back in the day. What year was that?
89 to 92.
Yeah. And I believe you guys were last team to beat Orange.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that night?
Oh,
I remember you that night.
yeah, good night.
It was. So Paul, how long you been coaching the JV now?
It's my third year.
Third year as head coach?
Second year as head coach. My first year was assistant coach.
Yeah. So let's talk about your team this year. What's your record so far?
We are 3-2.
3-2.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you guys got a lot of promise, a lot of young players, and a lot of potential for Madison County football. You want to talk about some of the players?
Yeah, my line is very experienced this year. Like my whole line are 10th graders.
Yeah.
My skill players, they young. They my 8th graders.
Yeah.
My 8th graders are wide receivers. I got an 8th grade quarterback.
Yeah.
So trying to. They're very promising young group.
It sounds like it. You guys put up a lot of points
They
too.
put a lot of points.
Yeah. How about defensively? What do you think?
Defense, they very well.
Yeah.
They doing very well.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite memories as a Mountaineer player?
Mountaineer player playing in the state championship in '89 in Madison. Playing against Appalachian. Appalachian, and that was a good game.
Yeah,
we lost by 8 points.
Yeah. I'll never forget when Appalachia came to Madison. They didn't warm up. They got there right before the game on the bus.
Yeah.
They walked straight off to the bus, right to the sidelines in the coin toss.
Yep.
And that was, I'm sure that was the last time the state championship we played.
They didn't pass the ball that one time.
No, right up the gut.
Right up the gut. They ran 50 times. They ran back there 50 times, 250 yards.
Yeah, and I bet you there was about 3,000 or 4,000 people there. That
Yeah.
That place was packed.
You couldn't see no graves.
No, you couldn't. So who were some of your influences on your coaching career?
Eddie Dean, he was a very great coach. He was very particular about his team. He was very knowledgeable,
With detail.
and he can tell you what you did wrong. I mean, he watched film very well. And he's very detailed.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about him. He's very detailed.
So I really appreciate you coming out today, Paul. What are you guys looking for towards the rest of the year?
Well, I want to win the district.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to win the district.
Yeah. Well, I think it's never talked about enough how much a JV program can help the varsity program.
Yeah.
And it really is. It gives hope for the future of Madison and keep this ball rolling and going in the right direction. And it's all to guys like you. You don't get the credit sometimes, you're unsung heroes, but you guys are doing a great job. Thank you for everything you do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Paul. All right, Larry. This week's game. I keep saying next week. This week's game. Who we have on town?
Central Woodstock.
So let's talk about a little bit about Central.
They're as good as they come. The last 3 years they've been top of the state. They're a great program. They've done a great job over there. You're going to get a physical, disciplined team. They're never going to back down. They're never going to quit. So you got to be really tough, and you got to capitalize on any mistakes if they make them. So,
They have a new head coach, but I'm sure it's the same just follow on the tradition of Coach Yo.
Yeah, so Rowdy Hoover's their new head coach, and he's been there for years now. He has been a defensive coordinator he was a defensive coordinator for Yo, so he's been there a long time. He knows the system and knows the scheme and knows how to run things the right way. So they're not really skipping a beat. They're still on the right trajectory, and they're a really good football team. And we'll see what happens.
It's going to be we got to limit our mistakes.
Yeah.
No turnovers, and be able to match their physicality.
Exactly. Gotta be able to match physicality, limit mistakes, penalties, turnovers, take care of the football, and see what happens.
All right. Well, I would like to thank Matt Peppers and James Atkins for hosting us here tonight. I'd also like to thank Mr. Chuck Jackson and Mitch Dickey for filming tonight. This is our first live stream of many more to come, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hope we didn't mess up nothing. And thank you all for coming out, and appreciate it.
Thanks.
See you next week.